Welcome back, beautiful soul, to lesson 5 of our inner child healing series. We have been just growing and glowing, okay? I hope that this series has been finding you well and that you've been understanding a deeper inner healing work. Again, lesson 5 is about healing abandonment and neglect. We're going to talk about reassurance and consistency in here. The intention is to repair attachment wounds with your self-presence, okay? Thank you again for joining us. I'm so excited that we've made it through. This is part 5 of our 7-part healing series. All right, so that means we are almost to the end. If you have not seen the first parts, as always, go back to the beginning. That'll be your foundation, where we've incorporated many practices that we've kind of built a house on. So this week we're talking about healing abandonment and neglect. Unfortunately, abandonment can be physical, emotional. It could be subtle, it can be obvious. And as a child, we have no way to gauge those things. We're just born and raised in it, and we're learning to live through it. So today we're focusing on showing up consistently for ourselves and understanding what that looks like and what that may feel like. Okay? Let's begin by imagining holding that inner child. Picture the youngest version of yourself in the 3 to 5 year range. Okay? Capture that picture. Right? That inner child, that little version of you. I want you to begin by whispering to this baby, this sweet soul, I am not leaving. I am here with you. Okay? You imagine that face. I am not leaving. I am here with you. All right? It's the small acts of care, those repeated, constant reminders like those statements that are going to help us build a foundation of trust. And showing up for ourselves is what's building a foundation of trust. When we have been abandoned, we often abandon ourselves. And so we constantly make goals and we abandon them. Right? We repeat the same patterns, not understanding why we can't get past that threshold. Our brain and our body have this innate knowing, and they want to stay in a familiar, safe place. And we're working on bringing down those walls and building that trust with ourselves. Okay? Affirm to yourself silently as we go more into the lesson. I stay present with myself. I am here for me. Okay? I stay present with myself, and I am here for me. Okay. We often have to remind ourselves, you are not too grown to remind yourself of how much you love yourself and how important you are. Okay. As I said before, abandonment is not always physical. It's most often psychological and emotional. It means that you've had inconsistent care. It can be very subtle over a period of time, right? Our caregivers were unable to match our emotional needs, right? So they go unmet. And then we tend to develop these patterns like just fear of abandonment. We don't want people to leave us, so we'll cling. Overgiving. We're self-sacrificing ourselves in relationships consistently, which automatically attracts a narcissistic person, right? So when we talk about later on in some lessons, bringing in what we want towards us and not bringing in what we don't want towards us, right? These habits are bringing in what we don't want towards us. That's why we're healing them, so we can no longer attract what does not serve us and what we do not desire. Okay. And oftentimes we could pull away to protect ourselves. We have this anxious avoidant personality, right? When somebody gets too close, we want to pull away, right? When genuine love is in our space, we don't know how to receive it. There's often a conflicting narration in our head, whether it feels like too much or whether it feels like it could be gone any moment. And these are learned responses. It's not who you truly are. So that's the good news. You can fix this. When these needs go unmet as a child, your inner child often learns to stop asking. I won't ask anymore. It doesn't happen, right? And I've walked through this conversation even with my oldest son, because I struggled as a young mom and I impacted him with a lot of my inner child wounds. And so there was a period of time where he just stopped asking. Right? And then children can do the opposite, where they'll just cling so tightly that, you can't get them off of you, and they're not really learning. They're just clinging to you for dear life. This lesson is about showing up for yourself consistently, right? It's especially when you feel uncomfortable, when it feels uncomfortable or it's unfamiliar. Those are the most important times. So we're using grounding techniques, we're using intuitive techniques, and we're using returning to our emotions and ourself, right? We're learning that connection doesn't disappear when things get hard, that we are still going to be here for us, okay? Let us begin by going into our guided practice. As always, we're going to take a few deep breaths. We're going to do some slow breaths. We're going to put our right hand, I prefer my right hand, on your heart and your left hand on your womb, right? Just gently relax into our body. Breath is what relaxes us into this body, okay? And just breathe normally, and we'll begin with a slow, deep breath here, okay? If you can, to the count of 3. And release. And again. And release. And once more. And release. Staying with your breath and in your vessel, staying within your body, staying fully present and grounded, aware that you are here in the now. You are here in the now, doing this work. I want you to begin by closing your eyes and imagining that child version of you, that face that you imagined earlier. Imagine her, unsure, afraid. Imagine her feeling these feelings: concern, loneliness. Imagine her hurt, sad. Imagine all the feelings that you felt in that version of yourself. And we're breathing. You can let the tears flow. You can let all the emotions flow. We're holding her. We're holding her. She is before us, and we are holding her with compassion. Continue breathing. Continue breathing. And I want you to say to yourself silently, I am not going anywhere. I am here with you. Breathe into those words. Breathe into those words, beloved. I am not going anywhere, and I am here with you. Continue breathing and moving through your emotions. Allow this moment to expand. Allow this moment to be free. Allow the cooling water sense to flow over you. Imagine blue rays flowing over you. You are using your voice with your throat chakra. I am not going anywhere. I am here with you. Imagine that version of you, feeling warmth, feeling warmth, feeling warmth all over, feeling safe, feeling protected, feeling harmony. I am not going anywhere. I am here with you. Take another deep cleansing breath. And release. Come back to center, come back to center. Oh, let your body soften. Continue to stay relaxed. Allow whatever emotions that you've been feeling to pass through you. You are a conduit. You are safe in this moment to feel. You are safe in this moment to feel. Come back to who you are. You are safe in this moment to feel. All right, beloved. Moving on to our journal prompts of the week. You know, I like to give y'all some prompts to do the work. So you're not just listening to me. You are going to do the work. Do the work. Gotta get some humor in here, right? Journal prompt number 1. How did abandonment or neglect show up in my childhood? How did abandonment or neglect show up in my childhood? What did it look like? How was I let down? How was I abandoned? What did it look like for me as a child? Journal prompt number 2. How do these wounds affect my adult relationships? How do these wounds affect my adult relationships? Journal prompt number 3. What fears arise around closeness or dependence? What fears arise around closeness or dependence? What am I afraid of when people get too close? What am I afraid of when I feel like I need to be dependent on somebody? What is that fear? Am I afraid they're going to leave? Are they going to let me down? Are they going to see who I am and they're not going to want to be close? What is the fear that arises around closeness and codependence? Healthy codependence. Let's say that. Number 4, journal prompt number 4. What does reassurance feel like in my body? What does reassurance feel like in my body? When someone reassures me, do I feel cringy? Do I feel loved? Do I feel protected? Do I feel like I owe them something? Do I feel like I did something wrong? What does reassurance feel like in my body? Right? Sometimes when we've had an unhealthy lens, we can see reassurance as a put down or someone over speaking you or not acknowledging that you knew what you were talking about, almost like I just said that, rather than it being reassurance, right? What does it feel like in your body? Okay. Journal prompt number 5. How can I show up for myself more consistently? How can I show up for myself more consistently? And this looks like, what are areas, just pick one. What is one area that you feel like you've lacked consistency in and you want to just polish it in that one area, right? In my planner, I going through several areas in the spirituality, in your health, in your finances, different areas that you want to look at, right? And you're going to rate them on a scale of 1 to 7. And in that area that you pick that needs more information and more input, take that area, say it's spirituality, right? What's one thing you want to do? What is one way you can show up for yourself more consistently? So select your area of life, look at all your areas and decide what's one way you can show up for yourself more consistently so you can begin to build that self-trust. It's not about a big goal, okay? The big goal is there. It's about the smallest achievable goal you can manage. It's going to feel like almost like an insult to your big goal. Picture an elephant. We're talking about the pinky toe on the elephant and the nail on the pinky toe, okay? To break it down. That's how minute these little goals will build up into the big goal, but we start building it now by encouraging ourselves in that one way you can show up consistently for yourself, okay? Moving on to your daily soul work, okay? Throughout this week, I want you to practice one thing, okay? You're going to keep one small promise to yourself each day. You're going to make a promise to yourself each day, and you, my dear beloved, are going to follow through with it. You're going to make a promise, a small promise each day. And in order to keep track of it so you can get that cognitive ability, like connected with the mind and the nervous system, you can even open your notes app, right? And it gives you the option for the bubble. That makes me feel fulfilled. When I make a to-do list and I check that sucker off or I line it out, I feel like accomplished. Okay. So you can do that. If you want to write it, if you're a writer, I'm a writer too. I have a journal too. I do all modalities. Keep that one small promise to yourself each day and follow through with it. You can say what you want to do the night before. You can say it the morning of, but set the intention with this spiritual practice. Okay. You're going to keep one small promise to yourself each day and follow through. That consistency is going to help heal that abandonment wound because you're building self-efficacy and trust. Okay. I celebrate this for you. Moving on to our weekly affirmation. Okay. This is what we're going to focus on. I stay present with myself. This week's affirmation, I stay present with myself. That means if emotions go high, if they go low, whatever's happening, I want you to come back to this foundational principle. I stay present with myself. Okay? I'm staying present with myself. You're worthy of this, beloved. You're worthy of staying present for yourself. You are worthy of being loved. You are worthy of not being abandoned. You are worthy of healthy relationships and a healthy outlook of life. Okay? You are worthy of this beautiful inner child coming home to you and being safe within you. Okay? Again, congratulations, beautiful soul. We have completed the journey of part 5 of our inner child healing series. Part 6, of course, we're going in more and more. We're going to work on and do an overview of some boundaries and some self-protection habits and some practices to incorporate in your week so you can get the lesson down and be ready to apply these modalities as a habit, expanding your inner consciousness and your healing on your own. Because as I say before, I can give you the content, but you, my dear beloved, need to apply the skills in order to adapt and create change and expansion in your life. Okay. As always, I love you. Love the one you're with first. If you're enjoying this journey, share with a friend, invite them to come along with us. Healing is done in villages and tribes, as in ancient times. And it's a beautiful thing when we create the community and we bring others in so we can know that we're not alone. As always, subscribe and give it a thumbs up. It tells the algorithm, hey, I'm on the map, and send her to other people, okay? I love you, love the one you're with, and I'll see you in lesson 6.